It's been missing all these times.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and. Now is the moment, now is the time. This very day is jubilation. Now is the moment, now is the time. This very day is jubilation. Now is the moment, now is the time. This very day is jubilation. Now is the moment, now is the time. This very day is jubilation. Now is the moment, now is the time. This very day is jubilation. Let me hear it now. Now is the moment. Oh yeah. Now is the time. This very day is jubilation. Now is the moment. Now is the time. This very day is jubilation. Oh yeah. Now is the moment. Now is the time. Let me hear it now. This very day is jubilation. Oh, it's coming. Now is the moment. Now is the time. This very day is jubilation. Oh yeah. Now is the moment. Now is the time. This very day is jubilation. I think we got it. Now is the moment. Now is the time. This very day is jubilation. So, for the poem this morning, you're going to need to put some attention on the screen, because now we present the dancing pants. The dancing pants doing their funny and fabulous dance. From the seat to the pleat, they bounce to the beat with no legs inside them and no feet beneath. They whirl and they twirl, they jiggle and prance, they make their own music when given a chance. So give a big hand for the wonderful, marvelous, super sensational, utterly fabulous, talented dancing pants. And thanks also to Shel Silverstein for that one.
So today is all about the power of play. We're going to be a little silly, we're going to have a little fun, but we're also going to pay attention to the presence of Spirit in this place, for God's Spirit is surely here. But you may be challenged to let go of some of your self-consciousness as a grown-up, but I invite you to let that little child in you emerge through the morning, to let that little light child in you shine. So we're going to begin by singing our opening song. Those of you who are able, I invite you to stand. And I also invite you, if you feel like it, to do a little word substitution here, since we just saw the dancing pants. Instead of I want to walk as a child of the light, let's sing I want to dance as a child of the light. And in the last line, shine in my heart, O Jesus, dance in my heart, O Jesus. Let's stand and sing.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
I want to dance as a child of light. I want to follow Jesus. God sent the stars to give light to the world. The star of my light is Jesus. In him there is no darkness at all. The night and the day are both alike. We dance in the light of the city of God. Dance in my heart, oh Jesus. I want to see the brightness of Dance, dance in my heart, oh Jesus. I'm looking for the coming of Christ. I want to be with Jesus. When we have run with patience the race, we shall know the joy of Jesus. In him there is no darkness at all. The night and the day are both alike. We dance in the light of the city of God. Dance, dance in my heart, oh Jesus.
Scripture this morning is from John 3:1-8. There was a man named Nicodemus who was a Pharisee and a Jewish leader. One night he went to Jesus and said, "Sir, we know that God must have sent you to teach us. You could not work these miracles unless God were with you." Jesus replied, "I tell you for certain that you must be born from above before you can experience God's kingdom." Nicodemus asked, "How can a grown man ever be born a second time?" Jesus answered, "I tell you for certain that before you can participate fully in God's kingdom, you must be born not only by water, but by the Spirit." Humans give life to their children, but only God's Spirit can transform you into a child of God. Don't be alarmed when I say that you must be born from above. It is God's Spirit that gives new life. The Spirit is like the wind that blows wherever it wants to. You can hear the wind, but you don't know where it comes from or where it is going. Some words of God for the people of God.
Don't be alarmed when I say that you must be born from above. It is God's Spirit that gives new life. In our gathering prayers today, in this time that we recognize our place in the family of creation, we're going to pay attention to the presence of God's Spirit in this place, around us, within us, and also the presence of God's Spirit in the wind. And I invite you to use your ears today. Let your ears be the tool of recognition of the presence of God around you and within you. That will be your primary means. So I invite you to settle into your chair, get comfortable in where you are. And I invite you, if you're comfortable, to close your eyes, to focus on your sense of hearing. Let that be your tool for awakening, to become more alert, more aware of the presence of Spirit within and around. Just be aware of your breathing. Be present to Spirit and listen. As we just heard in the Gospel of John, the Spirit is like the wind that blows wherever it wants to. You can hear the wind, but you do not know where it comes from or where it is going. From Hildegard of Bingen, the Spirit says to you, "I am the fiery life of the essence of God, and with the airy wind I quicken all things vitally by an unseen, all-sustaining life." Breathe in the wind, feel it surround you, enter you. John O'Donohue said, "As the wind loves to call things to dance, may your gravity be lightened by grace. May your prayer of listening deepen enough to hear in the depths the laughter of God." Listen for the laughter of God, the Spirit of God in the wind. Let the wind fill you with grace. Spread your wings and soar among the clouds. Pierre Teilhard de Chardin said, "Someday when we have mastered the wind, we will have harnessed for God the energy of love." You are a child of God, a child of the light. You are a part of the majesty of creation. You are an embodiment of love, filled with wonder, filled with spirit. Then come back into the presence of the room, open your eyes, turn to your bulletin again, and let's join our voices together in this prayer. Spirit of God, although we cannot see you, you surround us and fill us with your presence. Shape us, mold us, and form us into spirit people, people whose lives overflow with loving compassion. Then move us and scatter us throughout our world as your carriers of justice, hope, and care. Amen. God's Spirit, which is present in us and present in us as we play, invites us to share peace with one another. So I invite you to stand and offer signs of peace to one another. Peace to all of you who are worshiping with us via live stream. We're glad that you're with us. Much peace to you today.
All right, young at heart. One, two, three, four. Fairy tales can come true. It can happen to you if you're young at heart. For it's hard, you will find,
to be
narrow of mind if you're young at heart. You can go to extremes with impossible schemes. You can laugh when your dreams fall apart at the seams. And life gets more exciting with each passing day. And love is either in your heart or on its way. Don't you know that it's worth every treasure on earth to be young at heart? For as rich as you are, it's much better by far to be young at heart. And if you should survive to 105, look at all you derive out of being alive. And here is the best part, you'll have a head start if you are among the very young at heart. So those of you who know me, it probably won't surprise you to know that I've owned this hat and this shirt for a really long time. This is kind of who I am. I'm looking out in this room right now and I'm imagining looking at a group of 5-year-olds. So I want you to try and do the same. Put yourself in a room of 5-year-olds. It might be a big room of 5-year-olds. Maybe it's your kindergarten class. Or maybe it's a small group of 5-year-olds, your friends that you used to play with when you were 5. You maybe haven't visited that 5-year-old for a while, but he and she are still lurking there. I can promise you that. I can promise you that. Maybe it's been a really long time since they got to put on a silly hat and play funny games. But they still want to sometimes. So we're going to look at play today as it relates to spirituality. Say what? Play and spirituality. Now, actually, we've been doing a lot of playful things in this community for a long time. I confess to being one of the principal instigators of that, but all of you have joined in over the years in various things that we've done, introducing surprising music and doing some fun activities in the midst of our worship. I just want to make a brief case for this. Our friend Nicodemus in the story doesn't really get it, because what Jesus is saying to him is, okay, here's the deal. You want to get close to God, you have to have a second childhood. Being born again of the Spirit is to being born into that place of original delight, original curiosity, original playfulness, original openness. If you want to make a connection with the living Spirit, the God who's always ready to have a go at it, you need to have a second childhood, right? That's what it means, I think, for this born-again business to happen. Born again, another, do I have to go inside my mother's womb? No, you literalist. Do you have no sense of humor at all? I mean, really, it's about being like a kid, being like a kid. So we're going to do some of that this morning. Now, even though the 5-year-old within you is still there, I guarantee you, or I shouldn't say guarantee you, my hunch is that some of you get a little uneasy when I tell you we're going to do some playing here this morning. It's like, oh, I don't want to look foolish. I don't want to act foolish. Well, I'm sorry to say, you will. But only a little. And here's the good news. There are no mirrors. So you only get to see how everybody else looks and acts, right? You don't get to see yourself. So that's helpful. Now, I don't have one of these fabulous pig propeller hats for everyone to help you get into that space. But I have the next best thing. And I have one for everybody. So, help getting these out in the room. David? Yes. Just pass them around. I've discovered that these particular foam noses, this one size fit all, may not work on your particular schnoz. So go right for it, grab your nose, put it on, just spread it open. You'll find the opening, put it over the tip of your nose, just like that. And then look around and see just how fabulous we look. Now we have now to bless the proceedings this morning. I want to bring into the circle the other perennial child that we all know and love, and here he is. This is the Lord of the dance himself. This is the clown of heaven. This is the one who plays well with everybody, right? So he's here with us laughing. I couldn't find him with a red nose that didn't look creepy. So I just didn't go that way. All right. So we're going to engage. I'm going to invite you to engage because everything is always voluntary. You always get to choose what you want to do or not to do. I'll just tell you, if you choose to do it, you may be in for a serious hoot this morning, and you don't want to miss out on that. So we're going to do a little body play, a little hand play. So to do this, I invite you first to rise in body or in spirit. All right? And then we're going to just get warmed up a little bit. So take one hand and just shake it out. Just shake that hand. Get that morning blah energy out of there. Good. Now shake the other hand. Excellent. Shake a leg. Good. Watch that balance. Don't fall over. Shake the other leg. Shake the other leg as well as you can. Excellent. Kind of shake those hips a little bit. Excellent. Very good. Shake out your voice. All right, stop. Energy moving a little differently in your body. Notice that feeling, that little tingly feeling, that kind of movement. That's good. Now, choose a hand, any hand, your choice. Now, I'd like you to just let it float easily around the space, any way you want to. Float it up and down and side to side, just as if it's being blown upon the wind, being blown by the Spirit this way and that way. All right? We call this hanging energy, right? Now let this kind of move into sort of a rhythm, a kind of sort of swinging up and down and right and left and zoom. Maybe you find a kind of a beat that you like and you're just kind of going this way and that way. So this is swinging energy, hanging energy, and swinging energy, and then bring your hand to a rest and stop it. And just kind of notice what your hand looks like. And then move to some other position and stop it again. And notice what your hand looks like. Now when you stop, see if you can find another way to hold your hand, to arrange your fingers. You're creating shapes here. So we'll move a little bit and then stop. And then we'll move a little bit more and then we stop. This is shaping energy, hanging, swinging, shaping. And now some energetic movements this way and that way and over this way and over that way. And you can do it with your fingers and you can do it with your elbows and over your shoulders. And boom, boom, chung. This is thrusting energy. So you have 4 things to play with. You have hanging and swinging, which is somewhat similar, but rhythmic. You have shaping. You have thrusting. So for the next few minutes, I'm going to have Mary Louise actually hang, swing, thrust, and shape on piano while we... No, you get to play some music, and we're just going to take a couple of just a minute or so, and you're just going to each individually, as solo artists that you are, now that you've learned this game, it's a simple game, we're going to play this game of hand dance together, and you just get to create anything you want to using shaping, swinging, hanging, thrusting, whatever you want to do. Go. High and low. You can use 2 hands if you want. And find an ending. Excellent, excellent. All right, now for the next, oh. Now it gets really exciting. So now you need a playmate, you need a partner. So just find a partner, nose to nose, face to face. First of all, tell each other how great you look. You look fabulous. All right. So each of you raise a hand and bring it palm to palm. So match a hand, palm to palm. Everybody's got a partner, and now you're touching palms. Hand to hand, palm to palm. All right? Oh, good. Phyllis, you have a partner. For those of you at home, I don't know if you have a partner to do this with. I'm sorry we couldn't send you noses in advance. If you send us a note to the church with your name and address on it and just say, I want a nose, we'll know what you mean and we'll send you one. Okay. So now you're touching hand to hand. And here's what we're going to do. One of you decide to be, this is just for the moment, we're going to do this twice. So one of you gets to be the leader to start, and one's the follower. So just figure that out between you very easily, just somebody, okay? So the leader gets to move the hand wherever he or she wants to, and the follower's game is to just stay in contact with the leader. So the leader gets to make all the choices, and the follower gets to just to go with. All right, a little more music. Go ahead. Now, change roles. The follower becomes the leader becomes the follower, Same game, part 2. Leader leads, follow goes with. Go. All right, good. Now you can stop that for a moment. All right. Now it's going to get really, really interesting because we're going to play with leading and following. That means that you're going to take turns being the leader and follower, but you're not going to talk about it. You're just going to communicate through your movement and let the leadership go back and forth between you, sometimes being in the lead, sometimes going with. This is actually a great model for a lot of the ways we interact in the world. Take turns without speaking, share the leadership. Go. Find an ending. Thank your partners. Thank your partners. All right. You may return to the place from which you came. We all just experienced together an introduction to something called interplay. Interplay, a great system that uses movement and music and story to unlock our capacity for play and joy in our lives. And one of the local proponents, teachers of interplay, will be our guest at Sacred Journey later this summer in August. Kathy Ann Beatty will be here to sort of take you to the next level of interplay. So I encourage you to watch. I think it's the 18th of August that you'll be here. So we'll do some more interplaying. Now, if this were an interplay workshop, we would start unpacking the experience we just had and just kind of take a moment to reflect on what it felt like, where you were comfortable, where you were happy, where you were a little uncomfortable, what felt like really a lot of fun, and you'd like to do more of it. These are all the kinds of questions that come up when you do interplay, and they have profound significance for our lives, or can anyway. So this play business can be a serious, an important, a real spiritual practice, an important spiritual practice. I invite you, in the spirit of the morning, and if you're feeling particularly game, to wear this nose, at least for part of today, in situations that would not be, well, there won't be any situation where it'd be expected, right? I can almost guarantee you that you're likely to have some very interesting encounters with children if you do this, because they will see you instantly as a playmate. This pretty much tips the hand, right? Ah, look at this. Or they'll be scared to death of you. One of the other things, two things will happen. Yes. Oh, Bob Jansen. Yes, you can also put it on your ear, Bob. That's good. I like that. It doesn't fit on your nose. I got it, right. And then also think about a situation, a place, a time this week when you might also wear the nose. Not just today, but some other situation where you might do it. Silly hats also work, but you may or may not happen to have one hanging in your back hall like I do. So, but the nose is kind of universal. All right. Last thing I want to say is all the things that we're talking about this summer: delight, joy, wonder, play, spontaneity, curiosity. All of them have in common that they bring you right here now into this present moment. I'm pretty sure that while you were doing this, everything else was gone. Your agendas, your plans, your ideas, you were just right here and now. And guess what? That's exactly where the presence of God is also. So play your way into the presence. Amen.
Thank you, Steve.
Aha.
God's Spirit surely is present in all of this play, all of this joy, all of this spontaneity. I invite us to take a breath together. Let's inhale and exhale. Breathe in the Spirit of God in this place. Inhale and exhale. And know that God's Spirit is breathing you each breath, each moment, even if you're not conscious of it. Let's continue to awaken and to pay attention to the presence of God in our time of prayers. Let us be in prayer, and I invite you, if you have a prayer you'd like to share with the community, to raise your hand, a joy or a profound concern, anything that you'd like to pray for. Let us share our prayers together.
I'm going to be long-winded. I want to thank Jaden for giving me a ride today, and I want to thank a couple other people, Kaydell and Nate, for just being here. And then for our whole table, we have the best table. And I forgot what I was going to say, but we have the best table this morning. Goodbye.
Let's gather that prayer as a community and hold it in our heart and bless it with our love, and then send it on its way to God.
Since today is Bastille Day, let's send our prayers to the Cathedral of Notre Dame, and also to my local church where I grew up. All Saints Catholic was vandalized a couple weekends ago. Their beautiful stained windows were vandalized, and they're redoing the stained windows. And a lot of people are chipping in to restore them to their former beauty.
Prayers for a friend of mine, Ruth, whose husband died Friday of a massive heart attack.
Prayers and good energy are asked for my great-grandson Wyatt, is 5 years old and will be having a second heart surgery this week.
I'd like prayers for my granddaughter Julia, who is being deployed to Qatar, however you want to say it, tomorrow for 6 months. Just prayers of protection, and I hope it's a good experience for her in the 130-degree heat.
My dad, Dwight, sitting behind me here, won't be here next Sunday because he'll be up at the family cabin on the Canadian border for a family reunion. So all of his 4 sons, many of his grandsons, and many grandkids, and many great-great-grandkids will be there. So prayers for blessings on that event.
Prayers for the Biawalla Secondary School this week. Judith and the principal Fumba are going out to the villages to talk to the parents about enrolling their kids in the new secondary school, which is due to open in September. Also prayers for those who are raising money to get the startup costs, that it will come in before September.
Now is the moment, now is the time. In 10 cities across the United States, ICE is moving in to separate families, to separate loved ones. We ask prayers of safety and strengthening of faith as this action takes place. Give these people, these immigrants, these who have come to us in the United States, a blessing, and strengthen their faith that all will be well.
I'm going to borrow a page from Holly's playbook and say, I'm so happy that Bob Jansen and Suzanne Jansen are here today, and Betty and Jane, and we had a pretty rad table over here too.
To piggyback off of 2 people ago, today is also the World National Refugee Day. I don't think I said that correctly. But so in the midst of the ICE raids and etc., actually at 2 o'clock this afternoon at Loring Park is where that's celebrated today. So it's the National World Refugee Day, something like that. So.
Prayers for Nancy Lee. She passed away. Her funeral was Friday at the Richfield Methodist Church. And I'm supposed to say from Nate, hi to everyone here. but Nancy Lee was with us at our Scotland trip. So those of you who were there, remember her. Thank you.
And together as one, let us pray these words. God of wonders, thank you for your gifts, love that makes space for children of all ages, hope that restores our childlike faith, joy that surprises and sustains us, inspire us to share these gifts with others, so they might know themselves as a child of your heart. You're invited to bring forward your morning offering at this time as we sing the next song, This Little Light of Mine. Offerings for the ministries of this church go into the heart-shaped plate. Offerings for outreach go into the ceramic bowl.
Celebrating good news in your lives these days. I know there always is somebody here every week who has a birthday or an anniversary or a beginning or ending. You kind of know the routine. Whatever is good news for you or someone close to you that you'd like us to know about, this is the time to do that. Come forward. We'll give you the mic. You can tell us your good news. We will offer our blessing. Who has good news to share this morning?
right? Yes, there you go. It's been about a week now since I turned 5. I was 5 on July 4th. Nice. And if you add 76 to that, that's what I am. Oh! 81. So, thank you.
I am a conflicted person when it comes to my family. I have a wonderful family, and I quite often want to share about my family with people, but I know there are so many people that are really in deep pain and that it'll do nothing but create guilt in them. But I have a granddaughter, son of my daughter of my son who's a pilot, who is how old, 20? Is she 25? Oh, can't be. Well, anyway, she woke up one morning and decided she wanted to be a pilot. Mike has seen her through all of her training. She has her commercial license, her multi-engine license, and my son Craig in Ely called to say, Leslie and Rebecca and Christian are flying into Ely. And that is their family, the 2 girls and the boy. So I was just delighted and honored. A little bit of angst, what would happen if something happened to my 3 grandchildren. But to have a granddaughter and 2 grandchildren to fly in to see their uncle, terrific. And I want to celebrate that.
Our son, Brendan, got engaged last weekend.
Oh, yes, I know that moment. That's when the little faces of potential future grandchildren start appearing out of the mist. And you think, oh, maybe, maybe. So we extend our hearts and our hands in blessing. God grant you many years. God grant you many years.
There are many ways to be involved in the life and the work of the community this week. Our newly formed Green Team is having its 2nd ever meeting today in this space at 12 noon. Some of you, I see your faces. I know you're going to be there. And I know that this team is still just coming together. So if you're interested, feel free to just show up, get on the list, find out what the Green Team is doing. All kinds of exciting projects are going to be happening at Hennepin because of them. This is a little hard to talk with this thing.
It is.
There's also a meeting at 1 o'clock for all of you who are interested in learning about cycling in the Twin Cities and want to learn how to do it. 1 o'clock in the Longfellow Room. And I also want to call your attention, the International Cello Series concerts are coming up. The first one is tomorrow evening. We have the great privilege of hosting these. There are going to be 3 of them in the next 2 weeks, and they are going to be fabulous. These are truly world-class instrumentalists are going to be here. So tomorrow night at 7:30, there's information in the bulletin. And also a National Night Out is coming up, Tuesday, August 6th. Carlson Hall has a big display with information and a place to sign up if you want to be involved in that. Hennepin will be hosting that out in the parking lot on August 6th, so feel free to get involved. Are there other announcements from the community? Ann Carlson, you have something to say.
Next week, you have the opportunity to sign up to sponsor a kid in Biwalla to go to school next year. For the next 3 weeks, the 21st, the 29th, and August 4th, you can sign up in Carlson Hall, or you can do it in your bathrobe tonight on OC Ministries MN. It's $150, and it enables a kid to have a backpack, uniforms, food for school, and new shoes.
Thank you, Ann. Other announcements? Judith.
Don't forget, this is the month that we collect school supplies because school seems far away, but not for our kids. We collect school supplies for UMCOR, but also for our school in Biwala, and we're collecting school supplies for our Minnick High School that meets right down the hall here at Hennepin all the months of the year during the school year. So please bring your school supplies. There are lists at the front desk. If you don't know what to buy, bring them. We're collecting them in the bins in East Entry throughout the month of July. Thank you for your generosity.
Others, Jan.
Do stop and look at this lovely, playful altar. Who created it today?
The big thanks go to the incomparable Jada Green. Thank you, Jada. And Jada is the coordinator now of the altar table, and I'm sure she's still looking for people. If you want to take a turn to put your creative juices to work, you're never going to come up with anything this fantastic. But if you want to try, see Jada, please. Also, big thanks to the equally incomparable Maggie Glenn Burns for all of the work on our images, sounds, all of that. Thank you, Maggie.
And for the dancing pants, of course. And
all right.
And for the dancing pants, of course.
And for the dancing pants.
I'm also going to now do a passing of the hat to Judy Zabel, who's going to wear it downstairs. All right. Shall we?
Yes, please rise if you're able. And rise in spirit, if not in body, and we will sing our way out into God's world this week. Hallelujah, we sing your praises. All our hearts are filled with gladness. Hallelujah, we sing your praises. All our hearts are filled with gladness. Christ the Lord to us said, I am wine, I am bread, I am wine, I am bread. Give to all who thirst and hunger. Hallelujah, we sing your praises. All our hearts are filled with gladness. Hallelujah, we sing your praises. All our hearts are filled with gladness. Now he sends us all out, strong in faith, free of doubt, strong in faith, free of doubt, to proclaim the joyful gospel. Hallelujah, we sing your praises. All our hearts are filled with gladness. Hallelujah, we sing your praises. All our hearts are filled with gladness. And all God's people together said, Amen. Women, children, animals, creation.
That's too much fun.
Honey, that was so much fun.
Yes. I was thinking Emily or something. Yes, that was it. I still remember that. She was so a lovely speech.
Yeah, she was. She was great.